Good morning students and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in last lecture we had discussed about electrostatics and I think so the first application of Gauss law we had discussed in last lecture. But before we started the next application of Gauss law, now we had discussed about this lecture and which type of lectures they present on my YouTube channel. So that's why we have discussed just a few minutes, and after that we have discussed the new point. Actually, I said that my each and every lecture on my YouTube channel about physics, so each and every lecture is divided between two segments. Okay, every lecture is divided between two segments. Now in the first segment, that is very essential part, the revision for previous lecture. Okay, so which points we have discussed in last lecture right now, and after that it is very essential, so which type of questions they asking on board examination, all types of competitive examinations. So we have discussed about this. Okay, and after that again one very important point we have discussed in first session, and this is so how to prepare our own notes. It is very important. Okay, I know that the many YouTube channels, their lecturers, they gives the PDF notes, their own notes, but I think so my personal notes, okay, this is only my notes. Okay, how to understand each and every point, and then after I can decide this point we can write that type. This is my notes. Okay, it is not useful for all that students. Okay, this note is definitely useful, but when the students prepare our own notes. Okay, and definitely students prepare our own notes when they get the knowledge about this point. Okay, if we understanding this point, so then after we can prepare our own notes. Okay, so that's why in first session I can give some idea how to prepare our own notes. Okay, and after that in the second session, now we have discussed the new point, remaining points from the given chapters right now. So that's why we have started our first session, and between this first session we can first of all revise so which points we have discussed in last lecture. And we know that in last lecture we have discussed the very important chapter, and this chapter is, you know, that electrostatics. Okay, and this chapter we have discussed about electrostatics. So according to this chapter, you know that first of all we can revise some important topics they related in last year. Okay, this is very essential, and between this we have discussed what is Coulomb's law, the force of attraction and repulsion between two charges. Okay, the like charges are repelled and unlike charges are attract together. This is very useful term we are discussed in last lecture. After that we have discussed what is electric flux. Okay, what is meant by electric flux, and we know that when the positive charge emitted the electric lines of forces in outward direction, so how many electric lines of forces passing through the given area, passing through the particular area. Okay, so this is called electric flux, and we know that this electric flux is denoted by phi. Okay, so after that electric flux we get the definition of Gauss law, we get the statement of Gauss law. Okay, and after the statement of Gauss law we know that we find out the total flux, we find out the net flux between the closed surface. Okay, between the closed surface how many amount of flux they produces the total charges between the closed surface. So this electric flux, net electric flux, we are determined according to Gauss law. And after that, we have discussed the first application of Gauss law, and we find out the electric field intensity due to uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, spherical shell or hollow sphere. We find out the electric field. Right now, this is the revision, which type of points we have discussed in last lecture. But after that, how many types of board questions are asking in the given point? Now, it is very important that, so to find out how many types of questions, simply to find out the electric field intensity due to the uniformly charged hollow sphere or shell, spherical shell or hollow sphere. It means that when the question asking on the first application of Gauss law, so what is our answer? Okay, and if you write your answer, so this is our own notes. Okay, you can prepare our own notes, question answer type. Okay, this is very useful and this is very helpful according to our board examination. So write your own question to find out the electric field intensity at a point due to the uniformly charged sphere. Okay, or uniformly charged spherical shell or hollow sphere. Right now, or just imagine that to show that, another type of question. Okay, to show that the electric field intensity on the surface of charged sphere. Let's see. Okay, show that the electric field intensity on the surface of charged sphere and inside the charged sphere. There is first and second case. Okay, this is our first and second case right now. And you know that as per our new exam pattern, so there are near about 10 multiple choice questions, and then after very short answer type of questions, 1 marks each right now. And between this point, what is the electric field? Okay, between this, according to this point, the definitely according to the special cases of first application of Gauss law, what is the electric field at the center of charge sphere? Okay, so we know that the total charge is situated only outside. Inside there is no any charge. So simply electric field inside the charge will be 0. Okay, that type questions definitely asking for 1 marks right now. But if the long answer questions like 3 or 2 marks, what is electric field intensity at a point due to the uniformly charged spherical shell or hollow sphere right now. So first of all, it is very essential to draw the particular diagram. Okay, accurate diagram, sketch and well labeled diagram of hollow sphere, uniformly charged hollow sphere. Okay, and after that diagram, if we know about this diagram, so you can write easily their own explanation. And you know that according to this, we can draw the spherical shell. The total charges will deposited outside, and the electric field is moving in outward direction right now. So according to this diagram, we can directly write. Okay, in your answer, consider, let's see what is your answer. Consider a uniformly charged hollow sphere of radius capital R. This is on the diagram. Okay, right now this is actually present on the given diagram. We do not write in our own judgment right now. They already present in the given diagram. And just explain this diagram. This is our own notes. This is our particular answer. Okay, and I am request to all my dear students, you do not take any ratta. Okay, this is a temporary knowledge. Right now, this is not particular knowledge. Right now, this habit, definitely you get total marks, but you cannot prepare the competitive examination due to this habit. Okay, so that's why you can prepare our own notes and you can practice how to write the answer in the given question. So first of all, the diagram is very essential, sketch and well labeled. And after that, just explain diagram. So what we can see on the given diagram? So first of all, we can see there is the spherical shell, and this is uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, so we can write directly, consider a uniformly charged spherical shell of radius capital R, and the electric field produces in outward direction. Now we find out the electric field intensity at the point P. Okay, we can consider the point P on the electric field. Okay, we find out the electric field intensity at the point P. So after that, we can draw the Gaussian surface. Okay, we can draw the Gaussian surface. Right now, let's see. We can write practically here. So imagine that. Okay, so this is our uniformly charged sphere. The charges will deposit it outside. This is positive charge. Okay, and their radius will be denoted by capital R. So we know that if the positive charges will deposit it, electric field produces in outward direction. So electric field will be produces in outward direction. It is very important. So after that, we can find out the electric field intensity at the given point P. So what is the next? It is very easy. So we can draw the Gaussian surface. Okay, this is our Gaussian surface. This is the Gaussian sphere. Okay, we can write here. This is Gaussian surface. Okay, this is Gaussian surface. And the radius is denoted by small r. Small r is the radius of Gaussian surface. Right now. So after that, we can consider a one such smallest area, and this is denoted by ds. And we can observe the same. This area ds and electric field intensity are on the same line. Okay. So this is the complete diagram right now. So after that, you see on the textbook. Okay, please open your textbook and see on the page 186. This is the first page of electrostatics right now. And on this page, just observe that this blue circle, okay, sorry, blue square right now. And between this, they gives the idea how to find out electric field intensity. Okay, in this blue patch, right now, just read this blue patch, because between this, they gives the total idea. So how to find out electric field intensity due to every application of Gauss law right now. So according to this, first of all, we can explain the total diagram right now, and after that, their density, their charge density. According to the diagram, the charge density will be different. Now this is a uniformly charged sphere. They are having a specific area. It means that their surface charge density we can find out, charge per unit area. Okay, their uniform surface charge density will be sigma. Sigma is equal to Q upon A. So what is surface charge density? Charge per unit area. What it means? It means in 1 meter square. Okay, in 1 meter square area, how many charges will deposit it? Okay, so just imagine that this total area is 1 meter square. Okay, so how many charges will present? So the same charges is present on the next 1 meter square area. So it means that their uniform charge density will be denoted by sigma. So sigma is equal to Q upon A. According to the second application, just we find out the electric field intensity about wire right now. So wire do not having specific area, they having a specific length right now. Then after their density will be denoted by linear charge density, because there is length. Now here area, surface charge density, it is a surface right now. So this is surface charge density. So let's see, consider a uniformly charged spherical shell of radius capital R. Now we find out the electric field intensity at the point P. So we can draw the Gaussian surface, they passing through the point P. Okay, their own radius is small r. Now then after we can consider one such a smallest area ds at the point P. Right now their surface charge density of uniformly charged sphere is denoted by sigma is equal to Q upon A. So according to this, we find out the value of Q. So we know that Q is equal to sigma into A, area of the charge sphere, that is 4 pi r square. Right now, and after that, according to this blue patch on the 186 page on our textbook, so what is the next step after the charge density? What is the next step? So next step is very essential and it is very easy. Due to all type of application, so follow only these steps. Okay, so you can easily find out the electric field intensity. First of all, we can draw this diagram, explain the diagram, and what is the next concept? The next is, first of all, we can find out the total electric flux they passing through the given area between this closed surface. It means that the total electric flux between this surface we can easily find out according to the Gauss law. Okay, so that's why first of all we can find out the electric field intensity due to the Gauss law. Right now, and after that, by using the definition of electric flux, we find out the net flux, total electric flux. This is our step. And after that, the Gauss law and electric flux, there are two equations we can compare. Okay, when we comparing these two equations, we find out the electric field intensity. It is very simple. It is very easy. So due to this, so what is our first? We can explain this diagram. Okay, and after the explanation of diagram, we can again revise here. Consider a uniformly charged sphere of radius capital R and their uniform charge density, their uniform surface charge density sigma is equal to Q upon A. So Q is equal to sigma into 4 pi r square. Now we find out the electric field intensity at the point P. So we can draw the Gaussian surface. We can draw the Gaussian surface. They are also passing through the point P. Right now. And just we consider one such a smallest area ds, and this area is at the point P. Okay. So by using the Gauss law, so next concept, by using the Gauss law, okay, by using the Gauss law, now we find out the electric flux, the total electric flux due to this area ds, and we know that this net flux is denoted by, this net flux is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. What is epsilon naught? So this is the absolute permittivity of free space. Absolute permittivity of free space. What it means? What is the actual meaning of epsilon naught? The permittivity of free space means what? It means very easy. So permittivity like a permission. How many charges will passing between this area? Okay. So how many charge get permission to passing this area? So their total charge will moving this area. So their permission will be denoted by epsilon naught. Right now. So total flux is Q upon epsilon naught. Call this equation number 1. Okay. And what is the next according to this blue patch? It is very easy. By using the definition of electric flux. By using the definition of, which definition? Electric flux. Okay, by using the definition of electric flux. What is the definition of electric flux? By using the definition of electric flux, we also find out the net flux, total flux, and this total flux is denoted by the closed integration of. Okay, closed integration between the closed surface. Okay, so we can integrate the total electric flux. So imagine that this is first area, their electric flux will be denoted by phi 1. This is phi 2. There one another area, that is phi 3. Okay, and if we adding all that electric flux, so we find out the net flux, we find out the total flux. So this total flux is denoted by between the closed integration, and we know that this is denoted by E into ds. Okay, this is the dot product, and this dot product we can write in the closed integration of E ds into cos theta. Right now, but we can observe the same, this ds and E on the same line. So simply their theta is equal to 0 degree. There is no angle between ds and E. Okay, is on the same line. So theta is equal to 0. So cos 0 is equal to 1. It means that the net flux will be denoted by, the net flux is, let's see this cos phi cos theta. So theta is 0. So cos 0 is equal to 1. So it means that remaining E into ds. Okay. So actually we know that electric field intensity is constant at every point on the Gaussian surface, and remaining integration closed integration of ds. And we know that what is the value of integration of ds? Integration of ds is equal to what? 4 pi r square. You know, this this is our first smallest area, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. When we can add all, what is the integration of all that smallest area? We can get the total area, we can get the total surface. It means that area of total surface, because Gaussian surface their radius is small r, so it means that their total area will be denoted by 4 pi r square. So it means that the net flux will be defined, okay, there is net flux, total flux E, okay, E, and this integration ds is equal to 4 pi r square. This is our equation number 2. Comparing equation 1 and 2. Okay, comparing the right hand side of the equation 1 and 2, because both equation represents the net flux. So compare. So this first equation q upon epsilon naught, and the second equation, so E into 4 pi r square, and by using this we find out the total flux. Actually q we are already determined here. What is q? Q is equal to sigma into 4 pi r square. It means that sigma into 4 pi capital R square. This is the value of q as per surface charge density and divided by epsilon naught. Okay, so this is equal to E into 4 pi r square. So find out E, electric field intensity. What is the value of electric field intensity? So E is equal to, what is E? Sigma into 4 pi r square and divided by remaining 4 pi r square into epsilon naught. This is epsilon naught. Let's see, 4 pi get cancel, and we find out the electric field intensity, that is sigma into r square divided by epsilon naught into small r square. This is equation number 3rd, and this equation number 3rd, it shows that the electric field intensity at the point P. And after that we can find out the special cases. So first of all, we can find out here electric field intensity. But if this point P is on the surface, so simply the Gaussian surface will be neglected and just distance will remaining capital R. So this small r is converted into capital R. Just we can write small r means capital R. So capital R square will be cancelled, and sigma upon epsilon naught is the electric field intensity on the charged surface. And what is the electric field intensity at the point P? Inside the surface. Actually charges will just deposited outside, there is no any charge inside the surface. It means that inside there is no any electric field will be 0. This is the technique how to write our own notes. You can follow this and just you can write, okay. And if you do not write, if you get any problems about this, so just text me, okay, I can help you. Right now this is very easy technique to prepare our own notes, and then after definitely you can get the more knowledge about competitive examination, about board examination without any ratta. You can take full marks right now, so you can follow this. Okay, so let's, after that we are discuss the next application of Gauss law. So you can rub this, okay, so I can rub this, and before you can note down all that terms if you miss the lecture. Okay, so in the given lecture we are discuss about the second application of Gauss law, and when you can do not get any idea about this, so first watch my first lecture on my YouTube channel, okay, and after that you can see this lecture, so definitely you can get the total idea about this right now. So that's why I can request all my dear students, please subscribe my YouTube channel, because you can get the more videos and more techniques how to find out our notes and how to solve each and every problem about physics, about electrostatics. Okay, so just we can start it, the next application of Gauss law. So we can rub this. Second application for Gauss law. Let's discuss the second application. Let's see, electric field intensity of an infinitely long straight charge wire. Okay, so according to the second application of Gauss law, now we find out the electric field intensity at a given point, okay, at a given point due to an infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire. Okay, so let's find out the electric field intensity. We can draw the wire here. Imagine that it is a wire. Let's imagine it is a wire. Now this is the axis of wire. This is the axis. Okay, now their radius is denoted by capital R. So capital R is the radius of the given wire, and it is infinitely long. Okay, their length is do not measurable. This is infinitely, it is very long wire, and they carrying positive charge. Okay, they carrying positive charge in outward direction. So this is positive charge, and the total positive charge is also deposited in outward direction. And we know that very well, when the positive charge is deposited outside the wire, simply we know that very well, the electric field intensity is always moving in outward direction. Okay, their electric field intensity E is always moving in outward direction right now, because we know that the electric field is also emitted through the positive charge, and they moving and they ends towards the negative charge. So as same as here, this is a wire of radius capital R, okay, and having a uniformly linear charge density. Okay, uniformly or constant linear charge density, uniform or constant. Okay, so this charge density will be denoted by lambda. This linear charge density will be denoted by lambda, and we know that this linear charge density is represent charge per unit length. Okay, the charge per unit length of the wire. So this is linear charge density. Okay, so consider it is a wire of radius capital R and having constant linear charge density lambda. Linear charge density, it means what? Charge per unit length. Okay, and this linear charge density, it represents that, so how many charge will situated 1 per meter square area. Okay, 1 per meter square area, the total charge will be deposited. So this is the lambda for constant linear charge density. Okay, so we can find out the electric field intensity. So we consider any one point P. Okay, we consider any one point P, so we find out the electric field intensity at the given point. So according to the blue patch of the test book, they decided that, so what is the conditions to find out the electric field intensity due to any application? As per this, first of all, we can draw the diagram. So after that, the total charge will be distributed according to their charge density, and then after we are consider any one point, because we find out their electric field intensity, and after that we can draw the Gaussian surface right now. So we can draw the Gaussian surface here. So we can draw the Gaussian surface. Imagine this dotted line is indicate that the Gaussian surface. Okay, this dotted line is indicate that the Gaussian surface, and their length of the Gaussian surface is L. Okay, so small l is the length of Gaussian surface right now. And see their plane, this is the total, this dotted line is indicate that this is a plane, and this plane is perpendicular to the axis of the wire. Okay, and when we can draw the Gaussian surface according to the condition of Gaussian surface, now when we draw the Gaussian surface, their electric field is always perpendicular to the Gaussian surface. And let's see, this electric field is also perpendicular here. Okay, electric field is also perpendicular to the Gaussian surface. And after that, this electric field intensity at every point on the Gaussian surface are constant. It do not different for the different points. Okay, at every point on the Gaussian surface, the electric field intensity is constant. It is very essential and it is very important. Okay, so after that, we are consider one such a smallest area. Okay, we are consider one such a smallest area, and this area is denoted by ds. Okay, and let's see, this is the direction of area ds, this is the direction of ds. Okay, so ds is the area of the smallest element and electric field intensity both are on the same line. Okay, so we can find out the total flux. Okay, just imagine that this is one such a smallest element. So how many charge will passing through the one such a smallest element? Okay, sorry, the total electric lines of forces, how many total electric lines of forces they passing through the smallest area ds. So it means that how many electric flux produces through the closed surface. This total electric flux we are determined with the help of the definition of Gauss law. Okay, so by the definition of Gauss law. Okay, by the definition of Gauss law. What is the definition of Gauss law? So by using the Gauss law, we find out the total electric flux, that is net flux. Okay, and this net flux is defined the total charge per unit, the permittivity of free space. Okay, this epsilon naught is indicate that this is the absolute permittivity of free space. Okay, what is this? This epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Okay, this is the permittivity, absolute permittivity of free space. Okay, this is the permission. So how many charge will moving through the smallest area right now? So by using the Gauss law, we find out the net flux between this closed area. Okay, but what is the total flux? We find out actually total flux they produces through the uniformly charged deposited outside the wire, and this total flux we find out with the help of the definition of electric flux. Okay, in second term we find out the electric flux, the total electric flux, net flux by using the definition of electric flux. But then before, call equation number 1. Okay, so by using the definition of electric flux, by using the definition of electric flux, we know that the flux is defined the net electric flux, and this is equal to the closed integration of, okay, between the closed surface, the total flux will produces, and this flux is defined E into ds as per the definition. Okay, as per the definition of electric flux. Now the closed integration of E into ds, and if this dot product get neglected, so this expression for closed integration we can write here E ds into cos theta, because this is a dot product, this is a scalar product between two vectors, that's why this phi is the scalar quantity. Okay, so E into ds, so we can write here E ds cos theta. But now actually this theta is the angle between this ds and the electric field intensity, but according to this diagram it is very clear that this ds and E along the same line. What it means? It means that theta is equal to 0 degree. There is no angle between ds and E. Okay, and if theta is 0, so the value of cos theta is equal to 1. Okay, the value of cos theta is equal to 1. It means that we find out the total electric flux, the net flux is equal to what is remaining? The integration of E into ds only. Okay, the dot product will be cancelled. Cos theta is equal to 1, A into ds remaining. But actually what is E? E is the electric field intensity, and we know that this electric field intensity at every point on the Gaussian surface, it is constant right now. So E is the constant, so constants get outside the integration. The total flux is equal to E get outside and remaining the integration of ds. Okay, the integration of ds. So what is the value of integration of ds? Actually see, this is the first area, second area, third area. When the total area we are added, so we find out the total surface area of the Gaussian surface. Okay, we find out the total surface area, and this total surface area of the Gaussian surface or the Gaussian cylinder is indicate that, let's see, this is a plane surface, and this plane surface is a circular. Right now, it means that their value is 2 pi r. Okay, this is the total circumference of circle, and total length of the Gaussian surface will be denoted by L. It means that the total surface area of the Gaussian sphere, which is denoted by, let's see here, the total surface area, it means integration of ds is equal to 2 pi r into their length, that is 2 pi r L. Okay, so put this value from this equation. What we get? We get the total flux, and this total flux is equal to, what is the value of total flux? So total flux is equal to E. Okay, and that is integration of ds, but integration of ds is 2 pi r L. Call this equation number 2nd. What is this? Actually, this is the net flux between the closed surface, between the Gaussian surface right now. So this is also net flux, and this equation 1 is also indicate that the net flux. So comparing equation 1 and 2. So what we get? So when we comparing equation 1 and 2, so let's see, we are compare the right hand side of equation 1 and 2. So what is equation 1? So equation 1 is q upon epsilon naught. And what is the equation number 2nd? So equation number 2nd is A 2 pi r into L. Okay. So by using this, we find out the electric field intensity E, and this is equal to, what is E? Is equal to q upon 2 pi r L into epsilon naught. This epsilon naught is here. We have determined the electric field intensity, but according to the linear charge density, so lambda is equal to what? Q upon L. Lambda is equal to Q upon L. So what is the value of Q? So Q is equal to lambda into L. Right now. So Q is equal to lambda into L. It means that we find out the electric field intensity E is equal to Q. Q is equal to what? Lambda into L and whole divided by 2 pi r L into epsilon naught. But here L will be cancel, and finally we find out the electric field intensity at the given point P, and this is denoted by lambda upon 2 pi r into epsilon naught. So this expression, and we call this is expression number 3, and this expression number 3 is indicate that this is the electric field intensity. Okay, so after that, just see, there are two important conclusions. Their first conclusion, it is very important. Just imagine that according to this expression, it is very clear that the electric field intensity is directly proportional to the wavelength. Sorry, directly proportional to the linear charge density, that is lambda. Okay, so electric field intensity is directly proportional to the linear charge density, and if the linear charge density lambda is positive, okay, so if the lambda is positive, now the total electric field they produces through the positive charge, they moving in outward direction. Let's see. Okay, imagine that this is a wire and this is a positive charge. This is a positive charge deposited outside the wire. Right now, let's see the first condition, the lambda is positive. So what it means? Why? What happened there when the lambda is positive? It is very clear. Let's see, when lambda is positive, we know that lambda is equal to Q upon L, linear charge density. And if lambda is positive, so it means charge is also positive. And when the charge positive, so electric field is also moving in outward direction. It is very important. When the lambda is positive, so it means that Q is also positive. And when the positive charge is given to the outside of the wire, now simply electric field is moving in outward direction. So this electric field is denoted by E. Get clear? But just imagine that this lambda is negative. So what happens when the lambda is negative? If lambda is negative, so Q is also negative. If the lambda is negative, the value of Q is also negative right now. And if the Q is negative, let's see here, this is a wire. So it means that the negative charge will be deposited outside the wire. It means very easy. The negative charge is deposited outside the wire. And we know that very well. When the negative charge deposited, their electric field is also moving towards the negative charge. Electric field is aimed towards the negative charge. Okay. So there are two important concepts according to the electric field. Intensity due to the uniformly charged wire. Okay, it is infinitely long straight wire. Right now it is a charged wire. So let's find out the electric field intensity. E is equal to lambda upon 2 pi r into epsilon naught. This is the electric field intensity. Okay, I hope to understanding each and every concept according to their second application of Gauss law. Okay, so for the next lecture we are discuss about third application of Gauss law. Get clear? Okay, and if you like these lectures, if you like these teaching techniques, so please subscribe my YouTube channel because you get the more videos, and press the bell icon because you can just inform that when the lectures are uploaded in my YouTube channel. Okay, so I hope to understand the every concept. I can stop here.